Oh my god. A lot just happened. I apologize. There's a lot going on right there. Let me see here. Let me make sure this is. Oh no, this is just me being loud. Sorry, had to hop on a little. Maybe not quick per se, but quicker than I usually do. And I forgot to add in this stuff. I'm all messed up today. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing good today. Let me see here. Sorry, I'm gonna add this last little. There we go. Yeah. That's better. Okay. Sorry, I hate when I. Oh, maybe even higher. I hate when I have you guys hear the clicks and all that stuff. I feel like it's a little bit annoying and everything. There we go. It's probably about close enough. Anyway. Well, I hope everybody's having a good day today. We're not going to do anything too crazy. We're just going to be, you know, hanging out, doing the thing. Nothing wild. Hope you're having a good day, Josh. Oh, well, I apologize for that. Well, if you have anything you'd like me to play or do, I will do so. Because I don't really have anything per se I wanted to do tonight, other than just, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, very good. Oh no, that was not the right one. Where are we at here? There we go. We're probably going to go back to this, but I am going to show you guys real quick. So, some of my stuff has actually gotten some pretty good. It's pretty good views. Feeling pretty good about it. What's it called? Oh yeah, the Bruce Lee one. We could do that in today. We could do that. I'm relaxed for a minute, but then we could do that. Let me see here. Yeah, so I've got a bunch of them actually now that are like above 1,000, almost at 15,000 or 1,500 for a couple of them. So that feels good. That's pretty good. Yeah. So anyway, let's see here. We'll go ahead and hop onto this bad boy real quick. Boop. We're gonna actually. That's not the one I wanted to start it with. I feel like I start with that one a lot. It's a new one though. Not a new one. But one that actually has been getting a lot of play is this one, which I thought was pretty cool. Pretty weird, but pretty cool. Yeah, we'll work on the Bruce Lee one. Actually, that sounds like a good idea. I'm gonna play a game or two, but then we'll get into that. I gotta fix this deck real quick. There's a couple little issues. Yeah, we'll go with that. See how that goes. Whew. Man, I'm tired today, guys. Alright, this seems like a better pool. Talk about but if your ex thinks she can call your phone, you better tell her you love me, you know I'm in love me. Say my name, you married, babe. It's time to make it plain. Just don't be when I give back in your eyes, I see stars. I feel safe in your arms. My trust is so far away. Do she even want to talk to me? I feel like this is a bad move, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know. This probably is not great. Ooh. This is actually not a bad deck. This is actually pretty cool. Sorry. Sorry. sort of kind of, in a way, I want to finish this I will do it after this. I sort of kind of want to finish this one episode of Part of the Problem with Dave Smith. But we'll get to that. I forgot about this one. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys, I updated my thing, so you can just do doop, doop, boop, and doop, and boop. So you can just click any of those now. You don't even have to do anything anymore. Look at that. Let's see if I do this. Yeah. Oh, come on. He's gonna fuck me. Good game. He got me. That's fine. It is what it is. But no, I sort of kind of wanted to, let me see if I can, I'm sure I had it pulled up, right? No, I was listening to it earlier. It's probably in my history. There we go. I wanted to sort of kind of listen to this. Just nope. We're gonna mute that ad. We don't need that in my life. No. But I wanted to listen to this because I haven't. I'm always interested when Dave Smith and Scott Horton talk. I don't know. That's just me. I always feel like they have good insights on stuff. We're gonna what's it called? Switch over to
the Scott Horton.
What's it called? Oh, see, that's not even. Oh, this is trying to do it live or something.
Definitely go check that out. If you.
Oh yeah, we don't need to do. I think I stopped right here. Yeah, something about like that. Right, because right before he starts talking.
The narrative from here.
All right, guys, let's take a.
Yeah, this is it. All right. So we'll go right here. I'll have this just playing in the background instead. Because I sort of kind of like hearing some of this stuff, just figuring out what's going on in the world from these guys. These guys are they're pretty good. Let's see here. What we'll do. Do I even need to put it in the... I don't even know if I really want to put it in a corner or anything like that. Yeah, we'll just so you know, these are the two guys that are talking. Let's do it this way. This is Dave Smith. This is Scott Horton. They're great. We'll go ahead and just put it off to the side. That way we're not worried about it right now. There we go.
Referring to that, I was just literally this morning, and this was for I think the second or third day in a row. I don't know, dude. Did you see the aerial? And these are not AI images; they were all verified. The aerial pictures of the pro-regime demonstrations in Tehran. I mean, dude, there must have been 1 million people in that crowd. Certainly, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. And this is, and listen, you're more of an Iran expert than I am, but like I know enough to know this is in Tehran. This is in like the most liberal part of Iran. This is the part where there's, if you know, whenever you hear, which there is some degree of truth to, but when you'll hear the hawks say that like there is kind of like a tradition of liberalism in Iran that then also kind of lives next to this tradition of like more, you know, hardcore right-wing Islamist types. And yes, it is true that when the Shah, when our puppet was in there for 25 years, you would see women in miniskirts in Tehran and stuff. For people who go there and have done some guerrilla journalism, you know, even under the Ayatollah rule, there's still like underground nightclubs and there's girls who do go out. That's this area. That's where the city is. That's where like the liberal people are. And it's a city of, I think it's like 9.5 million people live in Tehran, something in that ballpark. They got like 1 million people in the street. They got like a ninth of the total population. I'm just eyeballing the numbers, but if you look at those shots, it's certainly in the many hundreds of thousands of people that are out chanting death to America and long live their martyr Ayatollah.
And crucially, those pictures are not AI. And yesterday on the Twitters, everyone, you know, in the war party was going around attempting to debunk those pictures and claiming that they were either fake or that they were old. They were from 2020. But of course, Glenn Greenwald took up this jihad and showed that, like, no, you're wrong. And Grok was saying, yeah, this picture's fake. This is old. This is from 2020. And people treat Grok like it's God, but it
gets it wrong all the time, the time, dude.
And so this is, you know, verified pictures taken by New York Times freelancers in Iran who turned in those pictures. So no reason to suspect they're fake whatsoever. But there are a lot of copes like that, Dave. I'm sure you had the same experience where the massacre at the girls' school at the dawn of this war, where, you know, in my mentions, I got people so married to the narrative that the Iranians did this themselves, either deliberately to make us look bad, or it was an anti-aircraft missile, but they just don't know what they're doing, and so their missile sucked and hit it or accidentally or whatever. And for days and days and days, they're coming at me about just what an absolute idiot and traitor and treasonist and pro-terrorist I am for thinking that it was the U.S. government that did it. And of course, the Pentagon today, as though they didn't know immediately whether they had hit this building or not. You know what I mean? But we have to investigate for a few days. But today they announced that, yes, of course, the DIA picked the target. They say it was an accident from an old map or what. So whatever.
Yeah, well, right. I mean, no, it's really important you bring that up. That was one of the things I was going to make sure to ask you about. But I mean, the thing to me, I mean, look, like once it was clear, which wasn't clear initially, but once it became clear, it got hit with a tomahawk. It was like, okay, well, That's like there's three parties here: Iran, Israel, and the United States of America, and we're the ones with tomahawks. So
Trump is like, hey, any country with tomahawks might have done it, right?
Yeah, but yeah, right. It's
like Homer
so ridiculous
Simpson when he's cussing out the trash man, and he's like, well, a lot of people are saying stuff.
Well,
and he's standing there in the middle of the street by himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and even when he was trying to make the thing where he was going like, well, as you know, other countries have tomahawks too, and they could have maybe sold one to Iran. You're even like, okay, yeah, I guess that is theoretically possible, but like the overwhelming, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, yeah, yes, like when I see my wife driving down my driveway in her car, it could be someone else with the same exact model car, but like the odds are it's the person who lives here in my house.
And really, so, U.S. doesn't share those tomahawks with anybody except the Brits and the Australians.
Yeah, right? The idea that one of them had, yeah, right. Like one of them sold it to, anyway. But I gotta say, I mean, it does seem to me to be just up there with the one of the most truly despicable things that I've ever seen a president do. And obviously, like, it's like, morally speaking, the murdering of a bunch of young children is the morally worst. But the way for Donald Trump, just when no one else would even back him up in his own government, he just started saying it was the Iranians who did it. And then, of course, as you know, that for those mentioned, I mean, some of them might be bots or whatever, but like, yeah, a lot of right wingers will just regurgitate whatever Trump tells them, even though they sit there and go, oh, Mr. Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, he just said it was the Iranians. And Pete Hegseth goes, we're investigating it, because he doesn't act. Central Command came out and went, it'd be inappropriate to comment on this. We're investigating. Like, no one would back him up on this. He just said it was them. It's like, no, actually what happened is you just murdered a whole bunch of like 8-year-old girls, man. Like, it just the most disgusting goddamn thing. And, you know, they're saying the report you were referring to that the New York Times put out just a few hours ago, you know, they're saying it was an accident. And like, okay, you know, I would, even, Scott, as fierce critics as we are of this, of the regime in DC, I would still want to believe that like they weren't intentionally trying to kill the children of like some IRGC guards or whatever. But honestly, I mean, really, when we're talking about it, the bottom line here is like, none of that really matters. It just doesn't really matter. In fact, it wouldn't really have mattered if it was an Iranian missile that accidentally went off and did this. The thing is, man, you launch a war of choice and you start dropping bombs on densely populated cities. And when a bunch of kids die as a result to a fucking war of choice, a war of aggression, that's on you. Like Benjamin Netanyahu, then first and foremost, Donald Trump, second, Benjamin Netanyahu, third after that, every goddamn member of this administration who fucking, you know, even if Tulsi Gabbard did warn, she hasn't resigned in disgust. JD Vance hasn't resigned in disgust. That's enough for me to say you're guilty too. You guys all just murdered 175 little girls and then have fucking sat there while they lied about it.
And think about what that means to them. I mean, this is an Oklahoma City bombing worth of casualties. Only if the Oklahoma building, the Murrah building, had been all daycare. Yeah. Right. And already the fact that there was a daycare in that building was just huge. I forget the exact number. I believe it was 20 something, you know, children were killed in that thing. And that made that, I mean, September 11th and everything since has kind of all washed that away and whatever. A lot of people listening to this maybe were too young to remember. Let me tell you, the Oklahoma bombing was the biggest deal in the world, man. It was the biggest massacre in America since Second Wounded Knee. You know, it was worse than Waco by double. And it was just a catastrophe, man. And also, you know, think about the Pearl Harbor attack, the sneak attack there. What if they had hit a girls' school and the Japanese had killed 168, 175 little girls at a school? And that was part of the story of Pearl Harbor. When FDR gave his Day of Infamy speech the next day, he mentioned, oh yeah, and they killed 175 little girls at their school in their sneak surprise attack. That would still be a part of the Pearl Harbor story. It would be in the, you know, a major aspect of the Cuba Gooding Jr. movie, right? And it would be a major part of the way that we tell that story 85 years later. We still haven't forgotten Pearl Harbor. It's still the biggest deal in the world here, you know. It's marked. I mean, not as
people justify using atomic bombs and firebombing cities based on Pearl Harbor. Still to this day, a lot of people.
And it was
Yeah.
virtually all combatants who were killed in that thing. You know, as sad as it
Yeah,
was, set up
yeah.
as they were by their own commander in chief to be sacrificed as they were still. But yeah, you're right. That was how they justified every bit of their war crimes against that country in the aftermath. And just imagine, I mean, I don't know, like, it's like when Daryl Cooper talks about the Russians and he's like, I don't know how they're ever going to get over this in 500 years, what we've done to them here. This is just, God dang. It's the same thing here. Like, yeah, these are some big things you can't take back. That time you started a surprise sneak attack in the middle of negotiations on false pretenses for a treacherous, completely unworthy third nation and killed almost 200 little girls on the like opening night. Yeah. Jesus, man. You know,
and also, I mean, look, in the
guess next morning, you know what I mean?
Well, and even in the what I guess now seems to be the Israeli strike that killed the Ayatollah. I mean, again, just like it seems like no one. I mean, you know, it's so I don't know, man. It's so weird for me because like the knock on me essentially after the last like year that I've had, the only knock or whatever seems to be the Douglas Murray thing. You're not an expert. You're just a comedian. Like, this is ridiculous. Which, like, is fair enough. Like, that is true about me, you know? But, like, the thing is that the entire expert class, you see no, like, there's no wisdom. There's nobody who goes, you know, yeah, like this, you know, murdering an Ayatollah. Oh, that's a pretty important thing to Shiite Muslims. Oh, and you murdered his whole family with him, including like a baby, like that, like as if that somehow, even in that strike, even not in the little girls one, we're supposed to like be like, okay, well that one was okay. It's okay that his family members get murdered with him, and as you were saying and channeling Daryl's point there, you're just like, yo, that is some toothpaste you can't put back in a tube, man. And that is, you got to think about this. Not that you can psychoanalyze perfectly any of these leaders, but the new Ayatollah, that is the world that he's coming into, right? Like, he's in power now, and his family members have just been murdered by the governments that you're at war with. Yeah. This is, I don't know, just so incredibly dangerous just to maybe advance the greater Israel project a bit. Seems quite a calculation. All right, guys, let's take a moment and thank our sponsor for.
All right, we're gonna be done with this for a little while. I'll watch the rest of that later. They got some points though, as far as just, I don't know. We're gonna work on some music. We're not gonna worry about that stuff right now. We're just gonna work on music. But I do. I don't know. People are wild. People are stupid. Anyway, this is something we were working on the other day. It's pretty good. I think it's pretty dope, actually. But I just, at the moment, I was so done with the day. I was like, I don't want to do anything anymore. So
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup. It becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend. empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. I said empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. When you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. When you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
I forgot how good this actually was. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot that this was actually a good beat. I forgot. I'm sorry.
I said, empty
That's
your
my
mind.
bad.
Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend. It becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put, I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Okay, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick, but I'm gonna go ahead and play this from the beginning.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
I actually think this was done. There was not as much as I thought needed to be done in this one. I sort of kind of like this a lot, actually.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Hey, this actually I think went pretty well. That actually I think ended pretty dope. I think it's done. I think it's done. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think this one's done? I think this one might be done. I don't know. I feel like it's pretty good. I mean, I already said I'd only play through it one more time. I'm gonna play through it
I said,
one.
empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup. It
What is
becomes
happening
the
right now?
cup.
Oh.
You put water in.
Oh, it was muted. Haha.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup. It becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I think that actually sounds pretty good. We'll probably put that one on Spotify here in a minute. What else should we? What like water? I messed up. I forgot to put an end marker. Haha. There we go. And then while we're doing this, we'll listen to some more of that stuff from Dave and Scott. It's good. And, we'll export both the WAV and the MP3.
Pouches, but with a
Well, look,
.com, and for 15% off, use the promo code problem. All right, let's get back into the show.
well, look, I'll tell you, man, I'm really worried about the potential here, and I'm not like predicting this. I don't know how to put a measure on how likely it is exactly or what, but there is a potential here for total catastrophe in the form of the Ayatollah Sistani or similar declaring a holy war against the West and against the United States and Israel together. Bin Laden did not have a religious rank. He had respect because he'd been wounded in battle and slept on the floor of the cave with the boys and things like that. And so people paid him, he's like a mafia boss. He was the boss of a crime syndicate where he had like this high stature that people respected and people would do what he said, kind of thing. But he was not some kind of supreme unified religious leader of Sunni or Wahhabi Salafi Muslims. It was a political thing. The Ayatollah Sistani could say, if you believe in God, you have to fight. And there would be potentially tens of millions of people at war with the United States, and including and the American targets in the West. And as we've talked about before, and presumably your entire audience has discussed with their friends in their living rooms or in their pickup trucks before.
I just realized I messed something up when I was trying to export this.
The world is lousy with soft targets, man. If we're at war against legions of terrorists, then they can do significant damage. Now, I don't know how many Shiite Muslims are in America or how loyal to the commands of the Ayatollahs they may or may not be. But on the margin, there's probably some. And, speaking of that first day when they killed those little girls, on that first day that, they started on a Friday night, Saturday night, a Senegalese American here in Austin grabbed his rifle and went down to 6th Street and killed 3 people and wounded 15 more before he was stopped and killed. And I mean, hell, dude, I didn't even know they had Shiites in Senegal. What do I know? But this was just, there's no reason in the world to think that anyone made him do this. He decided he was going to do this. He was going to play a long-term part in it, right? It's exactly what he did. And any asshole can do that. Anyone can start a forest fire. Anyone can hijack a gasoline truck and crash at innocent people, standing outside somewhere. Anybody could take a rifle to this side of the security line at the airport. I mean, there's a million of them, and anybody can think of it. You could take a private plane and crash it into a nuclear cooling tower. How about that?
There we go.
In the Northeast there, you look out the window of a plane, you can see them everywhere, those nuclear power plants. You just fly by sight into one of them. And I hate piling on with the scaremongering where you always hear these kind of tropes from the right wingers that, Hezbollah has sleeper cells in America and all this. Well, they could, and Hezbollah and the IRGC and the Quds Force and all of that, like they are an organized state force. I mean, Hezbollah is sort of Iran's 51st state there in southern Lebanon, and these guys wouldn't even necessarily have to have ever been sent here to be sleepers, other than just de facto that they decide that they want to take part now. And this is just extremely dangerous. Our government is putting us in so much jeopardy here. And, there's already been fighting at the Green Zone in Baghdad. There's been strikes on American bases, apparently not just from Iran, but from Iraqi Hezbollah, Kataib Hezbollah, against American targets in Erbil. We could have a real fight. Hell, there could be a coup in Iraq where harder line pro-Iran forces take power when, it's already Iran's friends there. But you could have real Iranian puppets take over in Baghdad and could cause, major trouble for the United States there. And I don't know, man. Shiite Muslims are a minority in the world, but they're about 50-50 in the Middle East. There's still tens of millions of them. And if they're, and see, Sunnis sort of, they pick their own imam, right? Like a Protestant Christian church. They just kind of have their own reverend or whatever. But the Shiites are all organized like the Catholics in these hierarchies. And there's just a few Ayatollahs. And Sistani in Iraq, he's the guy that David Wormser wanted to tell Hezbollah to stop being friends with Iran in the clean break, Dave. He's the most influential Ayatollah in the world. He already had a higher religious rank than Khamenei ever had. And so the potential that he has is like, lightning from the emperor's fingers, man. If he wants to use it.
I guess I maintain like hope in the best case scenario here, which is that essentially Donald Trump will call this quits in a few days. And that, he will basically just start looking at how much damage we're taking, how much this is affecting markets, his political career, and all that. I mean, as I've said, I've been on the record for this many times. I think he's already destroyed his presidency. I just don't like, this is the best case scenario, is that Donald Trump just calls it quits and then starts saying how amazing it was and how tremendous it was. I just don't see, I don't know. Obviously, Donald Trump he's got a track record of being the most hawkish president on Iran, while also, having a track record of rhetorically talking about how we would never go to war with Iran and what a disaster it would be and how these regime change wars are terrible. But there's been several points between Donald Trump's first term and then including the 12-day war where he kind of got us into a situation, but then took the off ramp when he had it. And there is, a lot, like when they shot down that drone, he didn't respond, even though people were trying to get him to. After they responded to him killing Soleimani, that he took the off ramp there. He took the off ramp after the 12-day war. There was good reporting that he was kind of trying to take an off ramp after day one of this thing, and that through the Italian negotiators, they reached out to offer a ceasefire after they killed the strike, and the Iranians said no. We're not doing it. So like the Iranians now seem to be like the calculation has changed, that he's changed the incentive structure for Iranian self-preservation, whereas before their calculation reasonably was we can't touch the Americans because then that'll kick off a war. Now their calculation also reasonably is we can't not touch the Americans or they're going to keep doing this to us forever. We got to give them a bloody nose here. That being said, Donald Trump could just leave, even if Iran isn't going to negotiate with them. But honestly, Scott, after all this stuff, I mean, look, there's been like 17 different BS justifications for this war. But a big one of them was they killed 30,000 of their own people and we're going to liberate the people. And Donald Trump unzipped his fly and put his two balls all the way out there on the table when he announced with a baseball hat and no tie on that this is a regime change. I don't know, dude. Like, what do you think? Like, how could that even possibly work? If he just comes back now and you go, dude, you just blew like probably over $10 billion at this point already. I saw a congressional estimate that said it was like $5.6 billion in munitions already. I don't think
days.
Yeah, that was in the first few days, and I don't even think that counted all the military hardware they moved around in order to get there, and it didn't count any of the damage to any of our bases or targets like that, or just the damage of like the lack of ships going through the Strait of Hormuz just for 10 days has caused. Yeah, like it's like so this is probably like in the tens of billions of dollars of damage. You killed it's got to be over 1,000 at this point. The last estimate I saw was over 1,000. Probably going to come out to be higher than that. Iranians dead. We don't know how many people died in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, but presumably some people died there. And we lost, we got what the latest number is, whatever you said, 7 dead, 150 wounded, something like that. This isn't Venezuela, in other words. He can't just spin this. He can't just come home and spin this as like clean and done. And that was that. And so that the fact that he can't come back and spin it that way, that creates an incentive structure for us to not get the best case scenario out of this, and for them to actually do what they were floating out about 2 September or something like that, really just try to decimate the regime. And of course, it seems like that is certainly the Israeli goal in this, that this isn't a regime change a la Iraq, Afghanistan. This is a regime collapse a la Libya, Syria. All right, guys, let's take a moment and thank our sponsor for today's show, which is Massa Chips. Everybody is talking about Massa Chips these days, it seems. And hey, it's still kind of a new year, and if you're trying to be healthy, this is a great little thing that you can start. Stop eating regular chips and start eating Massa. Massa Chips contain just 3 ingredients. There's no seed oils, no mystery chemicals, just real food. And these chips don't only avoid all the bad stuff.
I'm going to hold you to an answer on that.
Good tortilla chips.
What makes America the greatest country in the world?
Sorry guys, I'm halfway going through and looking at some of this stuff. What is this? Oh, that's a remix too. I'm trying to go through and label all this stuff because I didn't label some of these and I need to. No, the Warcry one, I know that's not a remix. What do we got here? What's this one?
By the way. Anyway.
I guess this is Blue's Clues. Or, well, Steve from, what's his name? Steve? Steve from Blue's Clues. But, let's just type in Blue's Clues. Like water. It's gonna be Bruce Lee. There we go. Cool, so now we got all of our remixes actually labeled. I'm gonna have to start bringing in some of the other ones that we've done over the last little bit. I should probably do that. Well, while I'm listening to this stuff, I'm gonna do some housekeeping while I'm...
They're communists. They're in PJAC. They dropped the J. I'm not sure why, but it's the Party for a Free Life in Iranian Kurdistan is the group. And they're communists. They're, like the Turkish PKK or the Syrian YPG. I read a couple of stories about American talks with Barzani and Talabani, who are the main gangster leaders in Iraqi Kurdistan. They weren't even asking the Peshmerga to join. They were just asking them to allow the communists to use their area as a staging base and putting pressure on them. And that all fell apart, went nowhere. You have Jandala, the Baluchi suicide bombers from 15 years ago or whatever, but they're no force. And, apparently they haven't done anything. There hadn't even been any attacks by ISIS, who they do like attacking inside Iran from time to time. There hadn't been anything like that. So, in the case of Libya, Libya was created not even after World War I, it was created after World War II. And it had always been these 2 or 3 major kingdoms and had been cobbled together by Gaddafi's predecessor. And then he took power himself. He was the second leader of the new country. And so when America, took sides there, it was basically people from the far east of the country rising up and waging very much a geographical battle of east versus west and moving westward, where it made logistical sense, operational sense, for not strategic, but operational sense for American planes to fly as their air cover and help them advance and take town after town after town as they advanced to the west of the country and eventually sacked Tripoli, right? There's just nothing like that here. And nobody believes that there is a force on the ground that they can do this with. I actually did LOL this morning when I read in the Jerusalem Post that the Shah Reza Pahlavi III or whatever says, yeah, well, this is my final call for everybody to rise up and prepare for my arrival. Yeah, right, dude. They'd parachute him and all his people in there. They're going to get mowed down. And they would have to parachute them in there. How else are they even going to get them in there? They couldn't drive them in from any border or any shore. So they would have to parachute them in, and then they would immediately be killed. And so they have, no solution really whatsoever to enforce. As I talked with Robert Pape the other day, who famously wrote those books about why people become suicide bombers. It's the foreign occupation. He also is an expert on why air power doesn't work alone anyway. And obviously air power is important, but you have to have a hammer and an anvil. Yeah. And I knew an old Marine back in the 1990s taught me that, listen, if your men are not standing on street corners with their combat boots on the ground, holding rifles, then you do not control that territory, period. That's who controls the territory, whose soldiers can stand around there. And that ain't ever going to be America in Tehran. And so, yeah, again, they talked Trump into somehow, don't worry, man. They're just, remember, I'm sure you've heard Netanyahu say this 1,000 times. They're just waiting for somebody to hit them and they'll just fall right over and all the people just rise up and it'll be great. But like, nah, there's no real reason to believe that. Dude,
yeah, that's right. And I got to say, there's this crazy goddamn dynamic of like where America, like the rough broad strokes deal of America for many years, what kind of built modern America as we know it, is that like European refugees could escape tyranny and then come over here and hope for like a better life with more opportunity and more liberty. And somehow this idea got converted into, oh, you can come to America and then convince us to go to war with the country that you're from to, you know what I mean? Like liberate your people over there. Or like the deal was always like, no, we were supposed to try to have some liberty over here. We're not doing that great at that. But I do think there's this Sagar and Jetty, who's fantastic. I love that guy. Yeah. Good friend. He's been making this point a lot on Breaking Points, and I think it's a really like astute one where there's this really like unholy alliance between the military-industrial complex and then their war hawks and then the like diaspora people. And there's this real problem, just if you've read enough about like just the terror wars, whether it's Chalabi or in this case, if it's the Shah's son or whatever, or just the people I'm arguing with on Piers Morgan, some Iranian girl who's talking about Iran, who lives in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? Who's lived there her whole life. Shit, these are the most disconnected people from Iran. They don't like they speak for a sliver of the population or what they told their kids about Iran. You know what I mean? And then they have this view, and I've just learned a long time ago to like never trust any of that shit, man. Like, because for a few different reasons. Number one, you don't live there. You don't actually know what's going on any more than I know what's going on. Like, it's be me talking about like Germany because my grandfather lived there, but I don't know, that was 100 years ago, and it's like I've never been there. But then also, the people obviously, like, if you get people who flee from a regime, that is a contaminated sample size sample right. of a study, right? Like, these are people who didn't like that regime, and so of course they like to imagine that that's the dominant sentiment, in the same way that we like to imagine that everyone who supported Donald Trump was against all these wars. But no, that's not actually everyone. That's a percentage. But then they all convince you that, oh, but everybody's going to love you if you do this. And the problem is that, I remember people used to point out that how unpopular Saddam Hussein was. Yeah, the people don't actually love that. And that's totally true, right? Saddam Hussein was wildly unpopular in his country. His country is 60% Shiites. They didn't support Saddam Hussein. But that's not really the fucking issue. Now, is it? The real question is, how are they going to respond when you kill 175 of their little girls? Like, and then the other issue is like, okay, even if it's true that there's not a majority support. By the way, there's not majority support anywhere for anything that any government does. Democracy is all a big fucking illusion. They had a study. What was it?
What's going on, boss? How you doing today? Sorry, I've been doing some housekeeping while I've been watching some of this just political talk stuff. I was playing some games for a little bit, and actually I literally just finished doing my housekeeping stuff. I had to get all my my stuff separated. So like I had to get my release stuff separated, my solo stuff separated, all this kind of good stuff. You know what I mean? So that's good. But I did notice that I have 4 remixes that I guess are ready to go out. Like, I mean, this one's pretty good. I forgot about this. We made this the other day. I totally forgot about this. Yeah, we've got a couple, like, actually, that I was like, yo, these are actually not bad, man. Like, in fact, even, like, I was looking at, oh, god damn it. Alright, hold on. I gotta open a beer.
Divine Original, you just redeemed Hydrate.
But, like, oh, I'm gonna have to... Do you guys think... Let's do it this way. Do you guys think I should do... Oh my god, whatever. Do you guys think I should do a new cover for every time I put out remixes? Do you think I should do one weekly? Like a weekly? Well, I probably can't do it weekly because I don't make that many remixes weekly. Would you guys think I should do it like maybe once every 2 weeks and like put out, I don't know, 2 or 3? You know what I mean? 2, 3, 4 remixes, and then just like update this or just reuse this photo. Should we just reuse the photo? I mean, it's not like it's bad per se. It'll create a brand, I guess. I mean, I could come up with a better version of this though. This is like really weak. I just did it in like a couple minutes on whatever. Monthly, right? Monthly would be probably good. Because when did I start this last? Let's look at these. So I updated the, oh, well, this is today, so that's not going to be fair. Let's see here. Let's do, where is, how often? Oh my god. Let's see here. Let's see how long it takes me to... Why? Am I loud to you guys? I feel like I'm a little loud. I feel like I'm whispering. I don't mean to be whispering, but I sort of kind of feel like it. Oh, it's probably because of this. Okay, here we go. That's better. That's probably better, right? All right, there we go. All right, cool. Anyway, where was I at here? Yeah. So it looks like a lot of the stuff, like the most recent stuff, is probably... This is the break me in one. When did it, let me see how many I got. Let's see if that's the first one. Actually, I think that probably is. No. gonna be this one. It's the last one I probably, or the first one I did since the last batch. So that's done 20 seconds. So how many is this? Yeah, once a month is probably good. I probably just did a little bit, you know, because that's at least, yeah, that's one a week easily. Okay, so then yeah, I'll probably do one a month. You know what I mean? What day are we on? We're on the 11th. So yeah, I'll probably do one closer to the end of the month. Gotta figure that out. Figure out when I'm gonna do that stuff. Anyway, I apologize. Went on a little tangent there for a second. But we are at a point where like actually stuff is sort of kind of moving. Like even if, I mean, look, I just got another one. People like on track, all that kind of good stuff. That's good. Plus I'm like I said, I'm actually getting, I'm show you guys this little behind the scenes here. My TikTok is actually doing okay. I don't know if you guys have seen that I've been doing okay. I don't know what is going on this TikTok. I don't.
Are they allowed to do this?
We're not.
So I left a zero tip.
Oh my god. You know, we're not gonna deal with that. But I've been getting, you know what I mean, a lot of likes. I don't really post on TikTok, but I'm starting to because now I have some stuff that I can sort of kind of do. So I'm posting all these shorts, and it's actually getting pretty good. I mean, some of them are. This one's got 700. A couple of them are doing all right, actually. Doing okay. You know, I've even got an Instagram. My Instagram's doing all right. Let's flip over there real quick. My Instagram is doing all right. Got all the good stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to figure something out for all these. I've got a lot of fucking beats that are on here that I'm just like, I never did anything really with. Like, some of these are actually pretty dope too. Anyway, I gotta get rid of some of these. There's a lot of this nonsense going on. But, you know, either way, these are actually getting pretty good. They're doing alright, which is pretty cool. So, make sure to check out my SoundCloud and all that kind of good stuff if you guys feel like it. You know what I mean? And my Instagram, my Twitter, I put up fun stuff. There's just little clips, little fun clips of the streams. Man, I forgot about some of these actually. I'm not gonna lie. I have such a short memory. I shouldn't have such a short memory of these kinds of things, but honestly, I do. Like this one. This one's actually pretty cool too.
She drinks wine by the glass, not by the bottle. She ain't stuck on the past, ain't worried about tomorrow. She's a lover, a mother, a sister and wife. She rolls over in the morning to the love of her life. Only smokes one on vacation, says just what she thinks. She don't need validation of anything. I just wanna be her so bad it hurts so bad it hurts. I just wanna be her. I just wanna be her. I just wanna be her so bad it hurts so bad it hurts. I just wanna be her. I just wanna be her so bad. It hurts so bad. She knows being rich is just a state of mind. She stays.
So yeah, I've been actually doing this one. We did okay. We did this one Sunday. I haven't heard it since Sunday, and I didn't like it on Sunday when I finished it. But let's see if I like it. I didn't like it when we did it. Well, I mean, I liked it, but I didn't know if I really felt like it was good. It's okay. I mean, I might put that one out with the rest of them, but I'm not sure. I do like a couple of these ones that we've been making on other days. Like, I think I might put out like these aren't the remixes. Maybe these are like I don't know what I'm going to call them. Because it's all stuff that's got samples from stuff, but it's not like a remix. It's just like weird sample stuff. Like the one we made tonight with the Bruce Lee, or like I sampled the guy from Blue's Clues talking about death, or like the Newsroom one, even like the Knight's was it Knight's Tale stuff. Like, I'm trying to figure out what we would call that album. Would it be like, I don't know, like I don't know. The Interpretations or something? Like something weird? Like, I mean, because even this one, so for example, like I said, like the guy from Blue's Clues talking about his dad being in hospice and stuff, but it's like, it's over a really cool beat. And I like this a lot. But so like, what would you call it? I mean, oh, dude, I've done a bunch from A Knight's Tale. Do you want to hear them? Oh, I actually, these aren't as recent. I haven't done them on stream, I don't think, but I've got a bunch of stuff where like I took, in fact, I will show you, on here, I have an entire Knight's Tale samples folder where I just choose random Knight's Tale samples and use them. Like, it's literally one of my, no, I agree with you. That's one of my favorite movies of all time, dude. A Knight's Tale it's the one of the most underrated, like, just movies of all time, in my opinion. I mean, in my opinion, you know. But like, it's great. So like, for example, I have a whole bunch of these samples.
How long since any of you been back? I've only been gone 6 months.
2 years for me.
3 years for my eyes. 5 long years.
Like shit like that, like, dude, even...
A flower is only as good as its petals, don't you think?
A flower is good for nothing.
Really?
Well, you can't eat a flower. A flower doesn't keep you warm.
And a rose never knocked a man off a horse either, did it?
You're just a silly girl, aren't you?
I literally downloaded the entire movie, and I just like took chunks out of it that I thought were really good. I literally downloaded the entire movie as an audio version and just went through and just like cut out parts of the movie that I was like, these are dope quotes. Like, this is really cool. But yeah, no, also, I'm surprised I haven't shown you this before. So for example, I've got one for a flower, when she's talking about the flower being like, you know, I'll show it to you. Yeah. It's a little different than my other stuff. say it now,
A
but
flower is only as good as its petals, don't you think?
A flower is good for nothing.
Really?
So, you can't eat a flower. A flower doesn't keep you warm.
And a rose never knocked a man off a horse either, did it?
You're just a silly girl, aren't you?
Better a silly girl with a flower than a silly boy with a horse and a stick.
Well, I've been waiting on your touch, set for way too long. I know I fuck it all up when I come. But we don't fight, we don't talk, we don't love no more. And I can feel it emotion.
Dear Jocelyn, my dearest Jocelyn, better. I miss you. Oh, hold, was that wrong? Well, it's up to you, really. It's your funeral. I mean, letter. Say something about a breast.
You always tell me that you just might need some space. But I just can't seem to understand it. Just say my place. Oh, when you tell me you love me, you tell me you hate me, I know. Said you tell me you want me to leave, but don't want me to go. Love, love, love. Oh, so what you done today?
Adamar sends word. He said he will win this tournament for you. He's won many tournaments. He wins them for himself and for his own honor, so it's nothing to say he wins them for me. He wishes to speak to you again. Not to hear what I say. Adamar wants his woman silent.
but so I mean
Still Irving win this tournament for you.
that was one of the ones that I actually made like a full song out of. But I've also made ones that are just like this, that are just like, I don't know. These are just weird, but they're interesting, but they're weird. I have
Help me, please.
Oh, I gotta go through it.
What's your name,
I gotta
William?
go through some stuff.
I'm asking you, William Thatcher, to answer me with your name. It's not Sir William, it's not Count or Duke or Earl William, it's certainly not King William. I'm aware of that. You have to be of noble birth to compete. Any detail. The landscape is food. Do you want to eat or don't you? If the nobles find out who you are, there'll be the devil to pay.
Pray that they don't.
want that. That's 5 for William. 5 for Watt. 5 for Roland, who's going straight home to England.
Straight to the pub for me. Eel pie. Brie tart. Fancy cakes with peppermint cream. Oh.
We could do this.
Do it, we've done it, boys. That's silver in your hand.
I mean, we can do this. We can be champions. Give us your coins. Now, come on, give me a coin. In 1 month, we could be on our way to glory and riches none of us ever dreamed of.
In 1 month, we could be laid in a ditch with Sir Hector. I don't want glory and riches, William. I just want to go home.
Pansy cakes with peppermint cream. Dill veal balls with squash fritters. I'll take my part now.
You're not of noble birth.
Well, so we lie. How did the nobles become noble in the first place, huh? They took it at the tip of a sword. I'll do it with a lance. A planted lance? Oh, no matter what, a man can change his stars. And I won't spend the rest of my life as nothing.
So I did a couple of them though. So I'll pull up. I have a whole folder of them. So like, well, I have a couple more than this, but I did this one, which is pretty cool. Like I said, I was gonna do a whole album based on just like A Knight's Tale, because I think that's such a cool movie, and it's such a good, like, there's so many random quotes in there that are just so good. They're so good.
Really?
Well, you can't eat a flower. A flower doesn't keep you warm.
And a rose never knocked a man off a horse either, did it?
You're just a silly girl, aren't you?
Better a silly girl with a flower than a silly boy with a horse and a stick. I come for confession. And the glass. A riot of color in a dreary grey world. Don't you think?
It's beautiful.
I feel the same way about the letter you sent. Speak to me. Speak those words.
It's so funny because sometimes I notice that I'm doing something that I'm not actually meaning to do. Like when I listen to stuff back. It's really weird. Like, for example, this song has so much weird dissonance in it. And it's because the letter that she's talking about is fake. Like, it's a letter that wasn't really written by him. Right? And so, like, the whole thing is sort of kind of this, like, him talking about, well, her sort of kind of at first talking about the difference between them two, and then him trying to impose this fake version of himself onto her, and then you know, her being like steadfast and all that kind of stuff, and then like the end of it is him being just like okay, I didn't fucking write it, but this is how I feel. And it's like, it's a very odd thing, but like it's that dissonance that happens that I think is very interesting. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a cool dissonance where like, you may not be the person you want to portray yourself as, but sometimes like that is who you want to be, and sometimes you're trying to portray that to the person that you're trying to like woo or whatever. And it's like it's a very weird human thing that we have, or that we do. I don't know, it's very odd, you know. So I just decided I wanted to put that into a track. I thought that was cool, you know what I mean? And then the other one I did was this one.
Look, I have a gambling problem. I can't help myself. I need people that'll quite literally take the clothes off your back.
What do you expect us to do about it?
He assured us that you, his liege, would pay us.
What would you do to him if I was to refuse?
We, on behalf of the Lord God, will take it from his flesh, so that he may understand that gambling is a sin.
Please, will you help me? So weak. I promise you won't regret it.
I'm gonna pee real quick.
I don't have the money. Release him. For God's sake, give him back his clothes. And you'll get him.
Done.
Sorry, guys. Anyway, so yeah, I had a whole thing where I was gonna do a bunch of Knight's Tale like stuff. You know what I mean? Just a bunch of different little random like things. I have a whole bunch of them. I actually have a couple of them. Oh, excuse me, more than that, but are they in? Yeah, no, we're not gonna get into those. Anyway, I still gotta figure out though what I'm gonna call. No, relax. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, it's okay. It's the same one that we did the other day. Right? Yeah. In March? Yeah, that was last night when I was doing whatever I was doing, and I didn't give a shit. I said, fuck it. We were gonna have some fun. Wait, is this one done? Yeah, right? Yeah, this one's done. We're gonna close this down. And then we'll, let me see here. Oh yeah, it did. It let me switch directly to the other one. That's cool. Alright, well let's, what should we do right now? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, by the way, guys, in case you didn't know about this, you guys should get hip to Claude. In case you don't know what Claude is. Claude is a AI thing where you can basically do a whole bunch of crazy cool stuff. And I've been creating a couple cool things. Like, so for example, I used it to help figure out some of my my platform stuff. So for example, I can literally just upload a couple of things that it asks for, blah 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 blah, and it will give me it'll give me this. So I can use this as a little thing here, and it gives me literally all the data that I need, plus tips and insights for each individual thing. And then it also helped me with like growth funnels and tips and all that kind of different stuff. You guys should really check out Claude and maybe start using it if you guys do stream or anything like that, or if you guys just want to use it for anything. Whether what I'm gonna actually start doing, which I might do probably once I get off stream tonight, is I'm gonna see if I can use it to create a like a war panel, so that I can see all the little different things go. Like, let me see if I can. Let's see what it can do. Let's see what it can do. Let's see. How about this? And we'll go ahead and play a little bit of music in the background so it's not so goddamn boring. Let's see here. There we go. All right, but let's see what we can do with this. So I'll ask it stuff like, how can I help you make a war monitor so it's gonna give me all these little different things. We're just vibe coding now, man. We're vibe coding. We're vibe coding a war monitor out here on Claude. That's pretty cool. I want it. Call me wonderful. Yes, I want it. Be the man I need. Let's see what it comes up with. This might take a second. Sometimes it take a second to build, do all their things. You know what I mean? Here, while we do this, I'll put this over to the side. We'll play some For Honor or something in the meantime. Actually, you know what? Let's just play some Magic.
I'm on some shit. Switch up the vibe. Don't waste my time. You want some shit? Yeah, that's cool. I don't care. Up in your damn, I'm still here. I put aside how I feel, 'cause I love you, and I'm understanding. And I know that the life we both live in is hard to manage. But if your ex thinks she can call your own, better tell her you love me. And no one above me. Say my name, say my name. Ain't finna play no games. It's time to make it plain. Boy, don't be acting strange. When I love hard.
I swear, it's just taking forever to come up. Oh. Man, this is taking forever to load. Plus, I guess it's fair because we're also building something on Claude over here. I should probably be aware that half my system is basically being taken up because I'm trying to make a... Oh shit, it did it. Hold on. Let's see what it comes up with. Alright, so this gave us what exactly? Let's see here. It gives us... Let's see. Yeah, what's it? Theater map, Middle East showing stripe markers with animated plus rings, color-coded countries, animated missile trails showing Iran's retaliation arcs, U.S. Israeli strike vectors, Hormuz blockade marker, Dubai airport hit, Iris, Dina sinking location near Sri Lanka. Ooh, that's interesting. Live stats bar, casualties, target struck, all that kind of good stuff. Oh, Iranian, U.S. casualties, wounded in action. Okay, yeah, okay, this is actually a pretty good little, let's see here. Oh, and it's giving me crude, is that crude oil prices? Yeah, Brent crude. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Like I said, like it literally gives you an entire, like you can ask it to create these things. Like you can just ask it to do this. So like I can just exit out of this. Let's see what the actual full version looks like. Oh wow, this is actually really cool. So I can, let me see here. Yeah, see that? I can ask it to probably give you a little bit of a more detailed map. Let's do that because the map is not very good on this. What else? Just a detailed map? Let's just start with detailed map. Let's just have it make a more detailed map and then we'll figure, but like Okay, Hormuz shipping completely blocked. Like, I don't know if you see that right there. It's completely blocked. And that'd be this area, right? Well, no. Yeah, this area. No, that's not right. Is it? Right? I mean, yeah, because I think it'd be right over here, but I can't tell because of the way this map is sort of kind of placed. This is a weird. It's a weird map. We'll have to see what it can come up with a better map. I'm gonna make this a lot better, I promise. This is just starting of it, but